everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to keep your shit together when you're a college student. I recently finished my first year of college and I'm now a college sophomore, which is insane to say. First off, I feel like I just started and I'm already a fourth of the way finished. Ideally, pending that I graduate in 4 years. We'll see. If you guys did not know, I am a music major. I was a biochemistry major and I changed my major during my spring semester of my freshman year. After that year of studying as a college student, I learned a lot of things that really helped me to keep myself together, get all my stuff done on time and to the best of my ability, and plainly to just remember what I'm supposed to be doing, because when you're in college you definitely have more responsibilities than just your classes, and it's really hard to keep all of that together a lot of the time, especially when you're so stressed about your classes. And at the age when you're in college, you are definitely at a very formative age, so you have a lot of other thoughts going on in your head that are definitely not related to school at all. So I just wanted to talk to you guys today about how I kept all of my stuff together and survived my first year. A lot of this stuff is not going to work for everybody, but this is what I do personally, and it's what I need to do to keep myself in line. If you already have a system that really helps you, that's great, and keep going with that. I am by no means a professional about any of this stuff, but I want to share my ideas and experiences with the world. So the first thing that I want to talk about is keeping your schedule in order. This is probably one of the hardest things to adjust to at first, especially when you're going from high school to college, because high school schedules are very cut and dry. You're here from this time to this time, you start this time, you go home, and then when you have your extracurriculars because they're the same every day, or you have a remind message with your coach or your teacher or whatever it might be. But college is completely different. The one thing that was hard for me to adjust to is that every single day is completely different. Every day you can go to bed at the same time and be able to wake up at a different time, and it's normal. Because in high school you're like, okay, here's my school alarm, I get up at 6:30 every day, I have to leave the house by this time. But in college, first of all, you have to be very independent about getting up out of bed and knowing when you have to get up, and the first step in that is knowing what your schedule is. So let me show you guys my schedule from my second semester, this past semester, and this is actually not completely correct because I had a lot of schedule changes, but basically on Mondays I had these two classes, and then I also had one more after that that's not in this schedule that I added later. But I had those two classes, and then I had wind ensemble. These two were in the morning, so this was from 8 to 10, these two classes, and then my other one was until 11:15, and then this was not till 3. And then the next day, my schedule actually ended up being that I didn't have class until 11:30 for my bio lab, and then I had a class from 2 to 4, and then a class at 6 p.m. And then the day after that I had class again at 8, and then I actually had class from 8 to 5 straight on Wednesdays, which was terrible and I do not recommend it. Thursday I didn't have class until 2:40, and then I had that night class from 6 to whatever it was, 7:20, and then Friday I only had the morning classes. So as you can see, every single day is completely different, and I want to show you guys my schedule for next semester too, because it's the exact same way. Every single day is different. So as you can see, this is Monday. I have this class in the morning on Monday, and then I have a big break right here, and then I have two classes. This is a rehearsal, and then this is a class, a little break, and then a night class. Tuesday I have this class, which is my piano class. Then right here is an ensemble, and I have that break in between, and then I think that's oral skills. Yeah, oral skills right here, and then marching band, and then the day after that is actually the same as Monday, but on one of these days I'm gonna have my private lesson. Thursday is the same as Tuesday, except Tuesday I think I might have chapter for Kappa Kappa Psi, and Friday is just a complete different animal. So as you can see, you have to make sure you have your schedule organized in your head and on paper. And since I'm so forgetful, I put everything down on paper where I can see it easily, especially at the beginning of the year, because everything is completely different. You don't even know what room you're going to half the time. So I highly suggest making something like this, whether it's on paper or in your phone, or both. But I highly suggest making something like this so you can have it all timetabled out, you know, where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, who's gonna be there, because I have my professor on here as well, and, you know, obviously what class it is, because you gotta know what the heck you're doing. But I've made one of these every semester, and it's way more helpful than you think it is with keeping yourself organized. And it also helps with scheduling other events, so you know exactly where you're going to be at certain times to see if you'll be able to go to whatever the event may be. So that is one suggestion I have for you guys. The other one about scheduling is to make stuff like this for every single week. This is not one from a past semester, because obviously I recycled all of those because they're irrelevant now. But this is one that it's an example that I just made up before the video. This is probably similar to what one is going to be like for me next semester. So it's basically a weekly guide to everything that you have to do. And if your professors give out syllabuses, I don't know. If they give out one of those that has like week by week, this is what we're doing, definitely keep track of those and reference those as much as you possibly can or need to. And use those to make something like this. I made one of these every single week. I think I missed 2 weeks at the end of last semester, but I made one every single week, and it really helped me to keep track of everything that I had to do that week, as well as events that I had to go to, or, you know, extracurricular things that I had wind ensemble, and I had a ton of performances last semester, and this really helped me to keep track of when they were, what they were for, and as well as keeping track of all of my homework for my classes. So up here I have all of my classes, and then here I just have a category for ensembles, because I'm actually in 5 ensembles next semester. I forgot one of them. And then down here I have my events, and I usually like to decorate these a little bit so they're not like an eyesore of paper hung up on my wall, but they are extremely helpful in keeping yourself together with whatever you might be doing. And then I also have a calendar that I hang up, and this is from April. I don't use this at my house because I have 2 different calendars here that I use for events, and I also use my phone. But this is the one that I have at school, and this is from April. I write every single event and exam on this calendar, and I keep it right in front of me because my bed has a magnetized metal bar on it, or well, it had one, and I had it hanging smack in front of me so I could always see when I had exams or events that I needed to go to. Those 3 things really help with scheduling and keeping yourself on track and keeping your brain in order, because it's really hard to keep all that stuff just in your head and knowing exactly when you're supposed to be going somewhere, especially at the beginning of the semester, again, because everything is completely new when you're a freshman. You know, every semester is completely new for everybody in general, no matter what year you're in, but especially when you're a freshman. You need to figure out a system for yourself so that you can keep everything in order in that little tiny head of yours, because it's harder than you think, and it's definitely harder than high school, no matter how busy you were in high school. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is planning, and how you should, first of all, definitely use a planner, and how you can effectively plan. So I actually have 2 different planners. This is my main planner. This is my bullet journal, and I've shown this in a video before. It was my 2019 bullet journal setup video, but this is my bullet journal. It's my main source of planning things. And this, if you're curious what this is a Muji journal. Don't really know what it's called on the Muji website, but it looks like this, and it's size B5, I believe. This journal is something that I use to both use as a creative outlet and a way to keep myself organized with everything that I have to do. I'll show you guys a sample spread from the semester. This is one from the middle of March, and clearly it's not the same as a normal planner because you get to create it yourself, make it look however you want it to, and use it however you want to use it or need to use it. So like, I just have what I need to have on here, the days of the week, what week it is, and then enough space to put all my homework for the day. But there's previous spreads. They're not in this journal, I don't think. This one is from January, and down here it has goals for the week. And I tried doing that at the beginning of last semester when I had a lot of stuff going on all at once, so I could keep track what I actually realistically wanted to get done that week. Just some basic little things, like I said, focus, which is definitely hard for me when I'm stressed. You can use a bullet journal however you want and however you need for yourself, which that's why I love bullet journaling so much, is because it's completely customizable for whatever you need to be doing at the time. But the only downside to bullet journaling is that it does take up time, and if you don't have time to be taken up by anything else besides school or work or other events that you need to go to, if you just straight up don't have that time, I would not suggest bullet journaling, at least not to the extent that I do when I have time to bullet journal, because it definitely is an added thing, and sometimes you just don't need added things in your life because you already have too many. And that's why for the month of April I made the executive decision to not bullet journal at all. The only thing I did was this, my April cover page, and then I did my monthly spread, and then I did one weekend to do because I wanted the I can't talk today. I wanted the space to write as much as I wanted to, and then I did not bullet journal again until after school was out. You have to pick your battles, and during that time when I did not bullet journal, I used this planner that my mom got me. It's from the brand Paper House. I don't really know where she bought this, but I have it. I used this for the entire month of April, and at the beginning of the school year, back in August, I actually used this alongside my bullet journal. I used the monthly spread, and then before classes started, I put a lot of events and stuff in here. Like, I have all my band camp events in here for marching band, so I would be able to keep track of different schedules for different days. I used this a lot during the very beginning of the semester. I don't have my old bullet journal, my 2018 one, over here with me, but I think I used them alongside each other. But I used this to keep myself organized when I was really, really stressed. And I always used the monthly spreads in here, but my use of this planner definitely dwindled as the school year went on. And then I stopped using it completely in November, and then I did not use it again, I don't think, until April. Yeah, this is my April calendar that I did, and I used this for the entire month of April as my planner, just because it's so much easier and less time consuming than bullet journaling. And while I did really miss making my bullet journal spreads, I think I made the right decision for myself and my sanity and my time, because I knew that I needed to use my time in a more effective manner, which basically just means I had too much shit to do. Anyway, the last two things I want to talk to you guys about are keeping your classes organized and apps that you can use to keep yourself in line. So classes wise, I used an accordion folder for all of my classes. First semester, my fall semester, I used different binders for every class, and I realized that that is not effective for me personally, college-wise, because that's what I did in high school and it worked great. But for college, it was just a big disadvantage for me because I had so little space in my dorm to keep all of those binders, and so I decided to invest in an accordion folder instead, which really helped me keep myself organized during the spring. Because I was so busy during the spring semester, it was nice to be able to have everything with me at all times, because I could just take that folder with me and have anything I could possibly need for any class. And so it was really nice to not have to worry about, oh, do I have the right binder? Do I have the right notebook? I did always have separate notebooks, and that's one thing I do want to talk about. I cannot function with like one of those like 5 subject giant notebooks. That does not work for me. I need to have the separate notebooks, and these are actually not the ones that I used for like lectures. These are the ones that I used to make like revised notes, but I couldn't find all my other notebooks. They're somewhere in my room. I highly suggest having the separate notebooks for classes because it really does help keep your notes organized. And you know, if you have one of those big notebooks, it's so easy to go to the wrong section and misplace some of your notes, or just like start throwing all of your stuff in like the front little under the cover area. For me, it's a one-way ticket to disorganization, and I cannot have that because I don't have time to be disorganized. So I suggest having different notebooks to keep everything separated and in line. And that's why I like the accordion things too, because if I had one giant binder, it'd be so easy for something to get misplaced in a different section. With the accordion folder, you have the little dividers that you can label and make sure that you're putting your stuff in the right spot. That's just me though. If binders work for you, do that. If folders work for you, do that. I'm just saying this is what helped me not fall apart, which I was very close to a lot of times. But I have all these separate notebooks that I used for all my classes last semester, and as I said, these were for my like revised notes, but I still highly suggest having separated notebooks. And then the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is apps that you can use on your phone or iPad or laptop even. I don't know if some of these are on laptop or just like online or whatever, but all of mine are on my phone because I live on my phone, which is bad, but it's okay. So I have a bunch of apps written down that I want to suggest to you guys to download before you go to college, because they will definitely help you. The college that I go to, Otterbein University in Ohio, recently switched to using Outlook and OneDrive instead of Google Drive. So I have the Outlook app on my phone for my emails and also to access different documents that are on OneDrive that professors share. But personally, I do not like to use OneDrive or Microsoft Word or PowerPoint or any of that stuff for my own projects and writing. So I also highly suggest getting Google Drive, Docs, Slides, whatever ones you need. Google, Sheets? I don't use Sheets for anything really, but I suggest having whichever apps are relevant to you from Google on your phone, because Google Docs is so easy to maneuver and manage, and if your school simply does not allow you to use them, they make you use Microsoft Word or some other program, get those apps of course. But for me, I have Microsoft Word on my laptop just because a lot of my professors post things that are only able to open in Microsoft Word, and so I have it for practical reasons to open things that I need to open. For the most part, I definitely prefer Google Docs and Drive to Microsoft or any other sharing platforms that could be out there, and any other online office tools that could be used. So those are the ones that I have on my phone, and they are extremely helpful, especially when you need to look at a document and you forgot it. If it's on your phone or it's on your laptop or your iPad or whatever, your tablet, you can easily just pull it up and not worry about not having it on you, because you do, and everything's fine. Also, my school uses Blackboard as their platform for online sharing between professors and students. If your high school used Schoology, it's very similar to Schoology, except it's way more functional. But whatever your college uses, download that app. Don't just use it on your laptop in like your browser. Don't just go to the website, get the app. I promise you it's so much easier to have the app, because you can check anything at any time so quickly on your phone wherever you are, because you're not always going to have your laptop on you or your iPad or whatever. Get it on your phone. It'll make your life so much easier, and you'll be able to see literally anything that you need, pending that your professors use it, of course, because a lot of my professors didn't use it. But for the ones that did, it was extremely beneficial to have it. The next one I want to talk about is the app Forest. in apps similar to Forest. If you don't know what Forest is, it's basically a study timer. I've used a lot of these in the past. They're like Pomodoro timers, and if you don't know what the Pomodoro method is, it's where you work for a set amount of time, however long you think you'll be able to focus, and then it times your breaks, and then you get back to work. I like Forest specifically because the premise behind it is that you plant a tree for a certain amount of time, and if you give up or if you leave the app to go use other apps, your tree will die. And nobody wants to kill a tree. Save the planet, save the turtles, don't use plastic straws, stop fishing because fish nets are killing more turtles than straws. Just saying. But nobody wants to kill a tree, and so it makes you feel guilty if you leave the app. You can have it set to where you'll still see like your notifications pop up, but if you leave the app, again, you're killing your tree. So you don't want to leave the app, and other Pomodoro timers are like that too. There's another one called Flat Tomato that I used to use. I don't use it anymore because I prefer Forest, but if you don't want Forest, because I think Forest costs money now. If you don't want to use Forest, Flat Tomato is another really good one. There's also one called Flipped that a lot of people use. I don't personally use it, but I have heard of it. But I highly recommend Forest because it's a really good way to guilt yourself into doing your work. I have two more that I want to talk about. The second to last one is Quizlet, which obviously a lot of people already probably know about. But it's so helpful to have Quizlet because you can study literally anywhere that you are if you make your own sets or find a set that works for you. So I highly recommend having Quizlet on your phone and not just on your laptop browser or whatever. And then the last one I want to talk about, I actually don't know what it's called because I had to search something completely different to find it in the App Store. The app is labeled as B4Grad, B4Grad, and I forget what it's called, but I feel like it's like productivity for students or something. I don't know. It's basically like a planner on your phone, and you can input every single class that you're in and have it have a different color, and then you can put in different test days and project due dates and homework due dates all into this one app, and it shows you in chronological order what is due when, and you can mark it off as completed when you finish it, or you can like delete them if it becomes like irrelevant. It's really nice to have that there and be able to see it all laid out in chronological order. If you don't make ones on paper, which I do sometimes as well, I make like, this is what I'm doing week 1, week 2, but you know what I mean. It's really nice to have it on your phone, and I highly recommend it. If I knew what it was freaking called, I would tell you guys, but I don't, so that's how it be. All of those apps are going to be extremely helpful for you guys, and I definitely forgot some probably that other people have told me about or that I've used in the past that helped. If you have any suggestions for people, go ahead and put them in the comments so other people can look at them. But I think this is where I'm going to sign off this video. I know that this video is extremely long, but I really hope that it helps you guys. And if you guys have any questions for me, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Eventually I'm going to be making a video about not school stuff. It'll be about school, but not about like studying school, you know what I mean? How to get involved and how to find your group of people or groups of people that you want to hang around in college, because your social experience is just as important as your class experience. So, with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and sign off this video so it doesn't get to 30 minutes because it's getting there. We're at 27 on my recording. Oh, 28. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.